Hello there folks, my name is Great Mighty Poe, and welcome to part 67 of Elden Ring Reforged Master Mode. Let's get back into this. Looks like it is nighttime in game. Let's fix that real quick because I can't see very well. Past time until morning. There we go, cool. Actually doing some recording in the daytime for a change, and yeah, always a bit of a pain in the ass because I always have the sun coming in the window. I don't want to shut my curtains because I am not a vampire. I do occasionally like to have the sun. I guess we'll head back up this way. We got the Revenger Shack Grace last time, obviously, after defeating the Revenger. And yeah, now we kind of want to head off this way to the next catacomb, which not too sure how this is going to go. This is a pretty tough catacomb in terms of the boss. If I remember correctly, this is a Spiritcaller Snail, which was updated for ERR. I think based on some feedback I gave at the time, because it didn't really feel like much of... He's got golden eyes. They're on the side of him, which is weird. Based on some feedback I gave at the time, because it didn't really feel like the Crucible Knights added much to the fight. Like, you would just bum rush the Snail and that'd be the fight. But that's not the case anymore. You actually have to fight the Crucible Knights. So, yeah. Sword Dance! Lovely. We've got... Oh, that's a golden-eyed bat. What a great start. Let me block that. I didn't know I was going to be fighting another of the, bloody Spirit Hawks. I just remembered I have that. Yeah, you can't run away from the Stormblade. Yeah! Awesome, awesome, awesome. I really do like the Stormblade. Definitely a really solid attribute. Having some ranged option just to push a button and do it is definitely really helpful. But yeah, the boss here, you actually have to engage with Crucible Knights, so in order to make the boss actually take any reasonable amount of damage, you need to kill the summoned Crucible Knight, and then you get a window to do some damage on the Snail, and then you just repeat. I think you'll start off with a Sword and Shield Crucible Knight, and then a Spear Crucible Knight, so a Silurian. And then it'll be both of them, and then it'll be just both of them from that point onward. So, yeah. It is going to be a little bit tough, but it should be fine. And I think we've got imps in here as well. Yes. Cool. Shut my curtains slightly so I can see. Oh, I thought you would die from that crit, but you didn't. I can see a little bit better. Yes, this is definitely bringing back memories. I remember this dungeon. Did I ever pick up Margaret's Shackle from... what's his face? I don't know if I bothered to. No, it doesn't look like I did. Obviously this is a dungeon with lots of illusory walls, so, you know, can deal with that, but right now we don't need to. Isn't there an imp up on the wall here somewhere? Or am I going insane? Beautiful. Oh, I think I heard one behind me, which was concerning. Oh wait, I think I know where that other one was. I think it was in this room. It hangs by the wall at the front there. Yeah, cool. More glove wallets, a 5 human bone shards, actually pretty good, and the watchdog staff. Watchdog staff actually pretty okay weapon, if I remember correctly. Why am I going in there? It's easier to go here, yeah. It does have that int scaling now, and an int requirement, and it has the magic passive effect as well to select recover people in combat. So it is actually a strength int weapon, which is really good. In vanilla, it is just a pure strength weapon, so yeah, really nice strength int weapon if you're doing a Heimer build. I guess. I mean, yeah, you have the Heimer hammers to throw as well, so you can use this plus those hammers and just start throwing hammers at people. It'd be pretty fun. Aha! Oh god! Oh, and there's a trapdoor there that I couldn't see. Not a trapdoor, a pressure plate. I am blind. You know, I don't need another one of your helmets, but I'll take it. You're getting down this way first because this is the dead end. Leads nowhere. This is the biggest trap I've seen in the history of traps. Yeah, there's one on each side. Okay. Oh! So their priority is to throw ranged shit at me. If I get close enough, he might actually go into melee mode. Yeah! Exploiting the AI. Lovely. Obviously his priority is to be at range to harass you while fighting other imps, but you can always just circumvent that. Regular Karian Soldier Ashes, and we're gonna do some parkour. Stand in the blue flame, you'll be fine. If I can get back into the blue flame. Eh. Oh, come on. There you go. Awesome. So you need to get to that platform over there, which is easier said than done. I'm trying to sprint with the wrong buttons here. It is a bit of a tricky jump, this one. Yeah, you need to kind of get that jump like right at the end. It's pretty difficult. Definitely on the hardest end of the rune piece scale, I'll call it. I don't know, there's like a scale of the rune piece difficulty. This is on the harder end, this particular one. Up there with some of the other parkour challenges. This one just requires a little bit of luck more than anything. Okay, come on. I don't want to jump that way too far. Yep, there you go. And then, yeah, and yeah. It's kind of difficult to get the speed up as well. Particularly since I have to click in the stick to do it. Ooh, almost. Seems like running in the spot there seemed to help build a bit of momentum. So to get there a little bit later, would have been fine. There we go. Got it. Awesome. If that didn't make a noise, if those pressure plates were silent, I would have been completely screwed. A little bit of a tougher one here because he's got the sword. Another rune arc, which I'm not really using rune arcs, unfortunately. I think all of these are illusory walls, or at least most of them. Oh, there's like ones with you can see the base of the wall. Like there, you can tell when there's one that doesn't have a base on it. Okay. It's probably going to be very dark for you guys as well. Unfortunately, it's rather difficult to use a torch when I'm trying to power stance, but we find when we get to the boss, which we're at the boss, so yay. Oh no, we start with the Silurian. Okay. They don't have their phase 2 by the looks of it, although I don't know if I've got them down half yet. They definitely have their phase 2. That was early. I felt that. Yeah. If I had with both my swords there, I think I would have been fine. I might switch to having the buckler so I can get the occasional parry in. See, it's definitely one of the tougher fights. There's a lot of really tough early fights in ERR. Just the nature of the mod, as it is. Yeah, that's the attack that I like to parry on them, if I remember correctly. That as well is a pretty easy one to parry. I'm always a bit careful with the Silurians. I find their attacks a little bit harder to parry than the Devonian. Not Devonian, Ordovician. I'm gonna need to pop a heal. Probably gonna go poorly. Gonna lock off and run in hopes of getting that in. Yep, he's doing his phase transition. Cool. So I can hear this snail hissing over here. Get as much damage in as possible before the next one starts. Okay, my parries aren't working. No, that's fine. I'm joking about the parries not working. I'm just poor timing on some of them. I haven't fought a Crucible Knight since Stormhell, and that was quite some time ago, so gotta relearn these boys. It's always a learning process with these bosses, but you gotta see how the gimmick works. And when you do take out a Crucible Knight, the boss does take a chunk of damage, so you know. Plus, also they have the regen protection early. I'll get one anyway, though. Thank you. So yeah, there's one thing I don't think I mentioned, is that during some moves... I'm getting a parry. During some moves and situations like this where you can't actually attack the boss, they will pause regen. So the devs of ERR aren't cruel with the regen. It's not a consistent thing. Oh, that's my physic flask. That's not what I need. Whoa! Man teleported across the room. That was my fault. But it's definitely one of my favorite fights in ERR. Which I know is weird because I'm getting my ass kicked and I'm saying it's a good fight. But like, it is a good fight. It's a good change to a boss. To make it so you actually have to engage with the boss. And it's got a unique mechanic and all that. Yeah, he loves doing that, by the way. If you get too close to him, he'll do that stab, unfortunately. I don't know why I keep going for these parries. Also, yes, they're in the codex. I should probably try and mark this boy before I forget. You can always refight bosses if you don't get in the codex, so it's not the end of the world, I guess. Oh, wasn't holding the stick, so I ducked. Oh, the delay! Interesting. He delayed that slightly, which was a bit strange. I don't know if that was delayed, or if it's just normally further away, so it felt delayed. Not too sure. I think I'm gonna give up on my runes. If they're not in the center of the room, I don't think I can get them. So I'm just gonna ignore them. They're not real. They just keep getting in the way. Anything after his stomp is a free parry. Let me mark you. That didn't feel like a parry, but somehow it was. How did I avoid that? That should have got me. Try not to sprint, because I want to keep as much stamina as possible. If you get lucky and get a stagger, like I did there, you will get more damage in. Very, very consistent with these ones. Yeah, that drag attack I always struggle with. It's hard to tell exactly when the swing starts. Yeah, unfortunately didn't get him, and you can see this is what we're dealing with now. So looks like the Silurian has decided he wants to take the lead, so we'll focus on the Silurian. Obviously, in a duo fight, you do need to play a bit more passively and let them approach you. I'm just going to keep focusing on these parries. It is a very safe way to do this fight. Okay, the other one decided he was going to attack there, so I took this opportunity just to back out. Be warned that, like the duo fight, when they enter phase 2, they both enter it. Okay, yeah. Kinda got stuck there, not much I could do. I was essentially reliant on them doing the right attacks and letting me get in and punish, so yeah, not much I can do against that shoulder charge. That shoulder charge is, they pulled it up when they're in a duo fight there, so yeah. So I guess the only problem I have with this fight is the duo phase. I don't like duo fights in general. So, yeah, that's just how I am. It's always hard to make duo fights actually feel good to fight. Because it's always going to be inherently unfair. I don't think anything can be really done about that. I often point to Demon Prince as a good example of a good duo fight, where both of them are designed to really take advantage of the fact they are in a duo fight, and so they have different move sets at different times. So like, with Demon Prince Phase 1, you have like, you have one that's aggressive and trying to kill you, and you have one doing the poison stuff with really clear visuals of what's happening. And then you also have it where they are both in the aggressive phase. So that phase you just keep distance, and that's very obvious and very easy to do. And then you obviously can have both of them in their poison phase where they're both playing passive and you can get a lot of damage in. And it's just a really good fight. I wasn't prepared there, so I deflected. Oh, really? 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 I can always get a heal in here, because it takes forever to do that attack. Okay, I need to not move forward. I think that moves me in a really bad way. It'd be interesting if there was like an end game version of this fight, like an optional challenge mode of this fight, where the Snail does have regen, so you've got to kill the Crucible Knights really quickly and not actually beat the fight. Nope, I made a mistake there. That was a poor parry on my behalf. I can see it glow over here, so I know he's over here. Okay. Kind of in a bad position here, not gonna lie. Let me get that heal in. Yeah, they have been both aggressive at the same time, which is annoying. I'm not too sure what to do here because they're acting very annoyingly. Okay, you're back into the fray. Hopefully you stay in the fray and the other one stays back. Yeah, I'm getting comboed. Getting wombo comboed there. I was trying to dodge one thing, leading to me getting hit by the other thing. And then I try to dodge that thing, and then I get hit by the next thing. And yeah, the stomps and the attacks from the other ones were kind of bad. That's kind of my problem. Is like with duo fights, obviously that's the big issue. Is you need it to be like you are actually. Hang on, I need to talk. I need to pause. You need to have it to where it actually is you fighting two enemies, not you just fighting two dudes, but you're fighting one-on-one essentially. So the other one's just in the other corner doing nothing. Like, that's not a duo fight. So you need to have it where both are an active threat, but you also need to have it to where their attacks aren't overlapping in such a way that you're getting comboed and dying because of things outside your control. That's always that's the frustrating thing about duo fights, is when things feel out of your control. Like, there's nothing you can do. It just depends on what attacks the AI picks. And if they pick the wrong attacks, you are dead. And that's the hard part about duo fights, is getting two enemies to work together in such a way that it's fun without being frustrating. And a lot of Elden Ring's enemies are great for one-on-one fights, but I don't think any of them are really designed for good duo fights in a lot of ways. None of their attacks really complement each other very well. Like, everything in Elden Ring is pretty fast, so there's no slow and fast, so, you know, avoid the fast stuff, and then the slow stuff will come in right at the end, and you can dodge that and feel really cool and awesome. There's not really that, and yeah, it's just, I think it's just kind of an issue in Elden Ring, which I think in base Elden Ring, it's fine. You have spirit summons to help with that. Plus, also, you have a lot of really strong Ashes of War. So even if you are having a bad time against a duo fight in vanilla, there are ways to mitigate it. And I think it's kind of both a good thing and a bad thing about base Elden Ring is you can kind of nullify the duo fights just with cheese, essentially. But then you have ERR, where those options aren't as potent. And so a lot of work has to go into making the duo fights function. And a lot of work has gone making this function pretty well. Like, Kern does a good job on it. But there are always going to be issues with fights like this, unfortunately. It's just how these types of fights go. Ooh. And particularly when the opponents are Crucible Knights, really aggressive, really hard-hitting, really tanky enemies, it's even worse. Like, if it's a duo fight and it's, you know, just Crystallians who have pretty simple movesets and are really easy to fight, it's not too bad. But when you've got Crucible Knights, a lot of the duo fight issues become a lot worse. So I like this fight up until the duo portion, and then I get a bit mixed on it. Because Crucible Knight Duo, if you're wondering, is my least favourite fight in all of Elden Ring. So, yeah. I'm gonna take the kill there. I'm not going to try and get Codex. I'm just gonna get the kill. Cool. So we've got Fortune and Spiritcaller, which is a new Fortune that I have never seen before, so it's pretty cool. Stone 3 and a rune piece. So you can skip the duo phase if you do DPS them down fast enough with a stance break on that first phase, and then throw some grease on, and yeah, so. We'll have to examine that at a site of grace. So I guess let's get out of here, and let's go to the Revenger Shack, and let's take a look at that fortune. But yeah, definitely, I like the initial parts of that fight. Fighting the Crucible Knights, and having them one-on-one, and big spirits and all that, I like that, that's cool. But after that, so fortunes, is it wise or cunning? I think it could be wise. Yes, okay. A mystical beast deeply in touch with the spirit world, calling long-lost defenders to its side. Unique mechanic is Spirit Bond, and you have increased movement speed. So it decreases maximum HP, stamina, attack power, and status build-up when a Spirit Ash is summoned. Vastly decreases maximum FP when no Spirit Ash is summoned. When having a Spirit Ash summoned, enables the Spirit Ring. Having a passive Spirit Ashes in range of the Spirit Ring increases the effectiveness of the Spirit Ring over time. Passive Spirit Ashes in range of the Spirit Ring gain increased target priority and damage negation. Restores the summoner's HP and FP. Enraged Spirit Ashes in range of the Spirit Ring gain increased action speed and damage negation. Restores the summoner's stamina. Spirit Ashes lose HP if not enraged for extended periods of time. So I don't think I've really talked about Spirit Ashes too much and how they work in ERR. So essentially, when you first summon a Spirit Ash, it's in a passive state. So in a passive state, it doesn't generally get aggro. So, you know, enemies are mostly going to ignore it. And it doesn't really do too much damage either. If you then resummon the Ash, so just reuse the item essentially, that will cost double the amount of FP it takes to summon them, and that will enrage them. And in an enraged state, they take target aggro, and they also do more damage. So it's kind of, you need to actually have a stat, you need to use Mind, so FP, to be able to engage with spirits, which is a really cool change, I really like it. And it makes them actually so you have to engage with. And also you need to find the appropriate times when fighting to re-engage that enraged state with them. Enraging them also has like some special effects on some of them. So, for example, the Kaiden Sellsword Ashes, when you enrage him, he goes into his Warcry mode, which is pretty cool. And so the Spirit Bond here is definitely about playing that summoner playstyle, where you rely on your spirits to do damage for you, which is certainly an interesting playstyle. Not one that I'm particularly interested in personally, because definitely, you know, the decreased HP, stamina, and attack power, that's all there to make it so that, you know, you're not meant to be in the combat. You're meant to be at the back supporting your summon. And the increased movement speed there as well. So, like, I feel like Fortune and Spiritcaller would be good with a high faith, high mind playstyle. So lots of mind, lots of faith to be able to cast support incantations. So healing spells, defense boosts, stuff like that to support your summon. And using that movement speed to get in and out of the combat. And supporting your Spirit Ash more than your Spirit Ash supporting you. So an interesting little fortune there, I will say. That's actually a pretty cool one. Not one I'm interested in using currently, but it is pretty interesting. But I think with that, it's been 30 minutes, and I feel like that's a good point to end off. So I'll say once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, guys. Have a good one.